In this last video, I will be demonstrating what goes into a legend and what does not go into a legend, and how to properly format and style the items within your legend so that the users can use it as a key to understand the rest of the map. As you can see here in the corner, we have our legend that we added at the end of the last video, but it has all of the items that are in our layer panel in our original QGIS map document currently in the legend, and that is not what we would like for our final map to have. In general, the items that you want in the legend are those that give a description of the specific icons used throughout the map. In our case, we want to show the villages by size and by color, because the color represents if they have access to a health clinic and the size represents how large they are in terms of households. We want to show the symbol for the health clinics so that the viewers can see where the clinics are. We also want to show what are the rivers and what are the roads, because without the legend, a user or a viewer would not be able to understand that. In order to get a better view of our legend, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see the changes that go on as we make them. The first step is to go to your item properties of the legend here. And I will scroll down a little bit, and you want to uncheck the auto update button. What that does is it keeps all of the items in your layer panel in your original map document, and it automatically adds them into your legend. Whatever you change on that layer panel will also be changed on here. And we want more freedom to manipulate the items in our legend, so we are going to uncheck that. The next step is to add or delete any items in your legend that you might not want or might want. So first things first, we're going to delete the base map because the user can see that this is the base map. They don't need it in the legend to understand it, so we'll click this little minus button to delete it. The next step is we'll delete the ILRG villages because we are no longer showing those. We will also delete the Nyampande villages newest. That was another Nyampande villages layer that I had previously on my map. So now we are left with the three layers that we would like to show: the health clinics, the Nyampande villages, and the rivers and roads layer. First thing is we will manipulate some of those layers that we just want to make some small changes to, such as the health clinics. As you can see here, health clinic has an underscore in between health and clinic, and instead we want it to have a space, so we will double click on health clinic, and you can edit the text here. So I will simply delete the underscore and add in a space, select OK, and you can see it changes in here. The next thing we're going to want to do is delete the Zambia Rivers and Roads title. We only really need to see what is a river and what is a road. We don't need the layer name to be visible because it doesn't really add anything for the viewer. So what we're going to do is right click on Zambia Rivers Roads and click Hidden. What that will do is it will hide it in the legend, and now you will only be able to see the river and road. Those are the category descriptions that we had set when we were setting up our data in the original video. The village layer is where it becomes slightly more tricky. I think it would be better to demonstrate the different colors on one view and then the different sizes on another view, instead of repeating the number of the different size villages multiple times based on the color, because it really shows the same information in just more ways, which might make it more difficult for the viewer to understand. Essentially, what we're going to do here is change this layer on the original map, on the original QGIS document. So I went back to the QGIS document, and we are going to copy this twice so we can set it in our legend to the way we would like. So let's hit duplicate once and duplicate again. So now we have 2 new Neampande village layers, but these are the ones that we're going to use for our legend. The important part is making sure they're unchecked because we don't want them visible in the map itself. We're only going to be using them for the legend. Let's go into our first Neampande villages, go to Properties. It will open up the properties, and then we are going to change rule-based of the symbology to categorized. What we are going to do here is we are going to classify the villages based on whether they have access to a health clinic or not. So we are going to hit classify. Actually, first we need to change what we're classifying the column on. So we are classifying it on clinic, access to a clinic, hit classify, and now we have our 3 categories. We're going to have to actually add in the unknown categories. So we'll type in unknown and change the legend to unknown. This is what will be seen on the legend itself. We can also capitalize yes and no so they're a little bit more visible. So they're properly capitalized in the legend rather than just having a lowercase and uppercase. And then we're going to drag unknown to the bottom and have yes be the top. The next thing we're going to do is go into yes. We want to make sure it is the symbol that we are showing for yes. So we'll keep the size at 5, keep it consistent throughout, and change the color, or keep the color to green because that is what is shown on the Neampande villages of those that do have access to a health clinic. For no, we are going to go in, keep the size at 5 again, and change the color to that red we used in the original Neampande map. We'll go in here and change the outline color as well to that same darker red, and we will click OK. And the last thing is to change unknown. Go back in here, and we're going to change it to a black with a darker black border. So there we go, and now we will click OK. OK again, and we have stylized our first Neampande villages layer to show the different colors of the villages. The next step is to make a Neampande villages layer that shows the different sizes of the villages. So what we will do is we will go into our second duplicated Neampande villages layer, go to Properties. Once that opens up, we want to take a quick look at how we sized up our villages. So as you can see here, this one is sizes 0 to 75 households. We'll double click here. This is 75 to 150, and this is 150 to 800. So we just want to remember that real quick. And again, we will change the symbology type to graduated because we want to graduate the symbols based on a size. And then we will go in and we want to graduate them based off of the number of households. So we select that. We can change the symbol here. So I think we want to change the symbol instead of it being green because that symbolizes yes. We want to make it more of just a normal white, so it's pretty neutral. And we'll change the outline to a gray. And we will click OK. I think we want it to be graduated based on the size, like our villages. And I think we had our size set from 5 to 15. And after that, we will change this to natural breaks. That's the best thing. Hit classify. We only had 3 classes before, so we will bring this down to 3 classes. And we can set the values to what we had before. So remember, we had 0 to 75. We had 75 to 150. And we had 150. In our case, the max is 1500, so we'll keep it at 1500 and click OK. So now we have stylized our Neampande villages based off of the color and based off of the size. So we will save this real quick. Project save. And let's go back to our Nyampande map layout. And what we'll want to do is we want to actually add back in those other Nyampande village layers from our original data view. So we'll click the add button. This window should appear. And we want to add in the Nyampande villages copy and the Nyampande villages copy. And we would like to select OK. As you can see now, those two layers that we added to our QGIS map document have been added here. So now we can go ahead and delete the original Nyampande villages layer from our legend because we no longer need it. And now we have all of the layers that we want visible in here. Typically, it's good to keep the points, lines, and polygons together. So what we're going to do is actually drag the Zambia rivers and roads to the bottom of our legend here because it's best on the bottom. You can actually use these up-down arrows to move them on your legend. So we'll move it to the bottom because we want all the lines on the bottom. And I think we want our villages on the top because they're the most important. That's really what we're showing in this map. So we'll move the health clinics down below that. And now we have all the layers in the correct order on our legend. We'll actually want to change the titles of these so they reflect what they're showing. We will change this top one to village access to a health clinic or something similar to that. We will change this one to something around number of households per village. And now you can see the titles have been changed for all of the layers. They are the correct order on our legend, and we have everything that we would like to show. The next step is to change the size of all of the text. This is an important step because we want to make sure that the legend is visible to the viewer of the map. So we will scroll down to fonts and text formatting. And as you can see here, there are 4 different groups where you can change the size of the text. The legend title is the title of the legend itself. Some people like to title their legend as legend or key so that the viewer can see that it is in fact a legend. I don't believe you need a legend title, but if you would like to add one, you can add one if you scroll up here to title, but I'm going to keep it blank. The next thing is group headings. You can add groups in your QGIS document and you can give them names, and there you would give the group headings. You could change the group heading size. The same thing goes for subgroup headings. What we really only have here are item labels. So what we want to do is go into item labels. And as I had said in the previous video, we're going to stick with using Gill Sans MT. And we can bump up the size maybe to something like 20 so it's a little bit more visible. As you can see, most of our legend items have changed at this point. Actually, what we're going to do here, these are in fact group headings, so we'll need to go in here, change the font to Gill Sans MT, and bump up the size once again. Looks like they might be subgroup headings, so we will go. Yes, there we go. So we'll want to make these a little bit bigger because they are in fact the subgroup headings, so I think I'll make them 28. And then we will bump this up to something like 24. And now you can see the items in our legend are much more visible. The last step in manipulating our legend to get it looking the way we would like in the final map is to change the spacing around. You can see in our legend right now that the icons are very close to the left edge. There's more space on the top than the bottom. So what you can do here is click on your legend. It'll open up the item properties, go to spacing, and you can change all of these spacing so it looks cleaner and it looks just more appropriate for your final map. So I'm going to take the title space down because we don't have a title. There isn't a group space. I like to play around and see what goes where. I'll make that a little large. Symbol space. That'll just give you a little bit more space in between all of the symbols. Icon label space will give you space in between the label and the icon itself horizontally. So I like to increase that a lot just so it becomes more visible. Box space is the outside of the legend itself. So you can bump that up so it takes up a little bit more space. We don't have any columns, but if we did, you could bump that up as well. And there you go. You have your final legend. I typically like to put a frame as well as a background around it. And there you have it. There you have your final Nyampande Chiefdom map. The last and final step is to save it and export it in the format you would like. So I will go to Layout, Export as Image. I will proceed. And we will name this Nyampande Health Clinic Accessibility. Click Save. It should open this image exporter. Typically, you like to have around 300 DPI. I usually use 300 or 500. I'll bump it up to 500. Click Save. And as you can see, it is now exporting my final map. We can go back into our location where we saved it. So I saved it in my Chiefdom template folder. And we can click on nyampande.healthclinic.jpg and drag it over. And here we have our final Nyampande Chiefdom Clinic map.